Hey guys, welcome to this stream. Hope you're all doing well tonight, or this morning if you're European like myself, technically. Oh, well, Chronic's trying the wrong team. You guys couldn't see that, but it did set the orange and blue team names. Chronic fancied orange team, he just hopped right in there. Or maybe he just wants to be AyyJayy. That wouldn't be a good sign for his new teammates in Jack and Nolly that just got posted on Twitter. I don't know if they've made an official announcement or anything, but somebody, like, they linked the sign up, which is as good as an announcement as you're going to get these days from most teams. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later on this stream, I'm sure. It's AyyJayy versus Chronic 1v1, and AyyJayy's off to a good start with a flip reset into the top corner. Dark and Ahmad in a Showmatch win. Is Ahmad the A7MD version of Ahmad? There's two Ahmads in the Rocket League scene. It's going to get very confusing. There's Ahmad that we all know, of course, and there's A7MD. 7, of course, the Saudi Arabian equivalent, or the Arabic equivalent, I should say, since A7MD is not, in fact, Saudi Arabian. He's from Iraq, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the Arabic equivalent of a heavy H sound. That's why you've got it in the Ahmed name. Nice little mind games by Chronic, gets him into a tie game position. I think AyyJayy should have had control of this one though. Yeah, he had 100 boosts, so that was a bit of a mistake by him. He just missed. But Chronic definitely being a bit tricky in his setups there, trying to keep AyyJayy guessing. Thank you to all the subs. I just realized I'm way behind already. I'll tell you what, guys, since this is quite a hype match, I'm going to catch up on alerts between games if I can. Hope you'll all forgive me for that. If you miss it, my VODs are enabled, so you can come back and hear me read out all the sub messages between games or after this series is over. It depends how it goes. So AyyJayy's trying to just put the brakes on after the kickoff there. Try to keep Chronic in position. Didn't want to flip and make himself vulnerable. Of course, if you do jump, then you're extremely vulnerable to any kind of bump or physical play. Another very interesting play from AyyJayy. This time just refusing to leave the ball instead of the boost. You know, it's a decent plan, but there it did look like the boost was pretty free. Hey, you know what else is a decent plan? Pinching the ball off your own goal line. AyyJayy really is playing quite interestingly, for lack of a better word, at the moment. He keeps on trying to wave dash and mind game in every position pretty much, but it's not working out all that well. That's a bit strange to see. I didn't get a chance to watch all of AyyJayy's games from the recent Turf Wars 1's LAN, which I'm, gonna talk about. I don't know if they've uploaded all the matches yet, but there will be spoilers for anything that's happened in other 1's tournaments on my channel. So if you've not watched Turf Wars yet and you want to, then probably want to switch off this stream. I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, AyyJayy came second in Turf Wars, so he's clearly playing very well. Half flip kickoff there. Chronic didn't see it early enough to hard counter it, but he's done quite well to force a 50. Not so well afterwards, staying alive as he gets demoed in his own back corner. Bit of a mistake there from Chronic, but the real mistake was not identifying the half flip kickoff until it was too late. He'd already decided to drive the ball forward by then. Yeah, I've heard about the KSA player Dark. Scrubkiller was telling me about him. I'm definitely very interested in seeing more of him because yeah, it's let's say it's rare in Rocket League, especially in a game mode like 1v1, for a player, especially a player of Scrub's caliber historically, to just message me and say, hey, this guy's insane, you should take a look at his games. Even more rare is it for someone in the Rocket League 1 scene, just Rocket League scene in general, to message you and say, hey, you should take a look at this game. I got absolutely destroyed by this player no one's ever heard of before. But that's what Scrub told me. He wrote to me and he said, this guy Dark's ridiculous. Here's some clips of him completely destroying me. And I gotta say, I was insanely impressed with the clips that Scrub showed me. So he looks like he's on the money with that one. I can show you guys the clips later if you want. Type 1 in chat if you want me to show you the clips. Some of you have probably already seen them. Scrub did stream them live. But I could show you guys the clips of this guy. He seems completely ridiculous. Yeah, just out of this world mechanics. He's 14 years old from Saudi Arabia, so we should expect nothing less, of course. But yeah, shout out to Scrub. He's the one who let me know about this guy. I'd seen the name kicking about the top 20-ish in the ranked ladder before, but I didn't know who he was. But yeah, Scrubkill has clarified he's a 14-year-old player from Saudi Arabia, and he's completely ridiculous. But okay, we'll talk about that. Well, I'll show you guys. A lot of people want to see the clips. I'll show you guys the clips after this series. We've got a lot to do after this series. at the moment, though. It looks like AyyJay's calmed down with the mind games. He's starting to catch Chronic out of position pretty consistently. That's a good spawn for Chronic, though. He decided to just go. What challenge that is off the ceiling. Now, how's the landing? It's good. AyyJayy decided not to stick around in the corner to try and demo him. AyyJayy playing with low boost at the moment, but still able to put a threatening shot towards the top corner. That was almost a goal for him. Chronic paying close attention to where AyyJayy is. It's already been demoed a couple times, but he didn't see that one coming. AyyJayy really flexing these demos at the moment. And it's great to see him integrating that into his game. You know, AyyJayy historically has been a very clean player. He's been a very outplay focused player, but you know what's better than outplaying your opponent? Scoring an open net after demoing them, because then you don't have to worry about what they're going to do. They're just dead. So AyyJay's trying to do that right now as much as possible. The best time to demo your opponent is when they jump or when they are about to land from an aerial that they can't really control, or when they flip, because you know exactly where they're going to be. So different style of fake in the diagonal now. AyyJayy earlier with the full half flip, now the delayed fake there. Chronic deciding to dive right in. AyyJayy saw him coming. Can he tie the game off this attack? Plays for the boost. He's got Chronic in an awkward position, but can he keep up the pressure? The answer is no. Chronic just finds an angle to challenge with, and he's going to score here. Look at this from Chronic. Opens the score gap to 2 again, and that was from a pretty rough position, really. He was almost on 0 boost. AyyJayy had the ball, had 100 boost. The problem for AyyJayy is that he didn't keep up the pace in the attack. He didn't keep Chronic moving. He allowed Chronic a moment to compose himself, and then challenge from a goal side angle. Very strong kickoff as well from Chronic. Both players trying to force it around the outside of each other, and that's better side for Chronic, it would seem. What's AyyJayy going to do to try and counter it? Nothing. He just does the same kickoff again, and now Chronic, after landing backwards to the ball, realized that there was nothing really AyyJayy could do except pull shot him into it. There wasn't enough momentum there for a demo. Chronic really calculating his every move wisely in the closing stages of this first game of the best of 5. It does say best of 5 at the top of the screen. I hope I didn't in fact double check on that one. And a massive free jump from AyyJayy. He had to do something here, hoping to catch Chronic with an early air dribble. Chronic playing a much safer closing finish to the game. It's not going to give AyyJayy any space to work with. The Chronic didn't play in Turf Wars. The lineup for Turf Wars was stacked with AyyJayy, Lion Blaze, Zapatos, we had Raise Bull in there, Evo, as well as Com, and no Chronic. And Chronic is one of the top players in North America that doesn't really get as much credit as I think he deserves. Since his recent return to the one scene, he's been nothing but very impressive. Beating Daniel in a tense game, Game 5, taking down Gom. I forget if he's had any other big wins recently, but yeah, Chronic looks better than ever. He's ridiculous right now. You know, the guys who, of course, were being mentioned for their absence from Turf Wars were Daniel and First Killer, unsurprisingly. But I think Chronic deserves to be in that conversation as well. If we look at Turf Wars as an indication of 6 players inside the top 10 for 1v1 in North America, well, Com may be on the bubble of that top 10. Not sure if I'd put him in there yet. Needs a bit more activity, I'd say, but he's definitely got the history and the ability. That's no doubt. You know, if we're talking purely at NA players, not players who have come in from other regions, then yeah, you've definitely got to put Chronic in there. But look at this. Double tapped threat early on in Game 1. Had the recovery to back it up as well, but AyyJay's come away with the ball. Extremely delayed flick. Will go past Chronic, who I think found himself slightly out of position on this play. He's very side on with his defense here. Of course, when you're shadowing, you kind of want to be between your opponent and the middle of the goal if they're moving quickly. Now, the reason for that is that if they are moving quickly with the ball on top of their car, and they manage to get a good flick, then you're not going to be able to catch up with that ball. The only way to save it is to pop it into your own crossbar, and you can't do that unless you're directly between the ball and the center of your goal. Where Chronic now getting a bit of a fortunate touch there, but the idea was good. Wanted to try and pass to himself off the near post. I don't know, by near post, I think he probably meant near post wall, not literal inside of the near post. Great first touch from AyyJayy. Can he get the finish as well? Decides not to go for it. Chronic was closing the door on that angle. But I think of Magical Bear's performance at Russell Royale. Magic Bear is ridiculous. You know, I'm really glad Magic Bear is, to me, not in... Oh, what a mind game from AyyJayy. Well, okay, let me just... sorry to Chronic to make us do this, but let's watch this one more time. Flip reset for AyyJayy. And just a wave dash in the landing. Not sure it would have made any difference. He'd already faked Chronic off the ball, but good little touch to add. Chronic's not fully mind gamed, then a wave dash, little burst of speed could definitely finish it off, make the goalkeeper panic. But okay, what do I think of Magic Bear and Russell Royale? I think he was fantastic. I was about to say that I think he's, for me, in a kind of similar position to Exotic from Europe. Now, I don't think they play similarly at all. I think they're very different players when it comes to play style. But Magic Bear was one of those players who, ever since the start of our LCS Season X, I've been waiting for him to end up on a really top tier team. Because when I watch him play, I just see, so much talent, so much potential. But he never really had the results to show that talent or potential. Never had the right team to get the results that he's always been waiting for. So, it seems like finally Magic Bear's landed on a really good team, the same way that Exotic finally had a chance to show what he has been able to do for many years. He of course had the opportunity to show us at the World Championship. Magic Bear will have to wait till the start of the new season. But I expect great things from him. I think that's a really good team. That's of course going to be AyyJayy and Rettles, who are going to be his teammates, I believe. If that roster that they played with in Roster Royale is going to be the roster that they run with for RLCS. Has that been announced yet? Can you guys spam ones in chat if that's been officially announced? I think I might have seen something somewhere. I don't remember if it was a Roster Royale announcement or if it was an RLCS announcement. Oh my goodness, look at AyyJayy go. He just can't miss right now. This is absurd. No official announcement, just a Roster Royale announcement? Okay. I mean, after how well they did in Roster Royale, I can't think of why they wouldn't play with that roster for RLCS. So I very much expect that to be the roster that both AyyJayy, Magic Bear, and, well, Rettles as well, will be playing with in the upcoming RLCS season. But yeah, what do you guys think about the new Space Station gaming? Space Station played with AyyJayy, which wasn't a surprise, as it was fully leaked by their coach Chrome on CJ's podcast, as well as being rumored for ages before then as well. I think for me, I don't think we can jump to conclusions with AyyJayy. I think that, he was definitely going to be very, very nervous, even for a small tournament like Roster Royale. No disrespect to the organizers. I think it was a great tournament, but compared to RLCS, it's a community tournament. So you'd expect pro players to kind of be taking it easy and just having some fun with it. But I think in AyyJayy's situation specifically, he would have been extremely nervous. He's replacing Rettles, who's of course a legend, very popular player, but also a very talented player in NA. Speaking of talent, we've got plenty of it on the screens right now. What on earth is this from Chronic? The power, even from close range, with a bullet down the center of the goal. No chance for AyyJayy to react. I feel like AyyJayy just has to do something there, though. Got to make himself a bit bigger in the net. Didn't close the gap. Didn't close the distance. Yeah, with AyyJayy, I think Daniel is ridiculous. I mean, Daniel, since he's joined SSG, has been their best player. But yeah, he was completely ridiculous. I think AyyJayy looked really nervous. I expect to see better things from him. I still think calling him a top 25 player in the world at the moment is insane, but I think there's a chance that he could be the top 25 at the end of the next season. Of course, it all depends on how Space Station go, and it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be very tough. Tons and tons of pressure on that roster to perform. So if anybody just tuned in, well, got a bunch more alerts that I couldn't get through yet. Going to do that probably just at the end of this series, because it's going to be too hard to remember where I am in them if I start doing them now. So yeah, apologies for everybody who I've not shouted out yet. I will get to that. Apologies for all of you who want more play-by-play, but the scoreline is 7-1. AyyJayy kind of just absolutely demolished Chronic in this game. He scored some very good goals. So there's a good illustration of what I was probably poorly explaining earlier, and that's AyyJayy knew that you wouldn't be able to catch up on a immediate shot or flick from Chronic, so he just put himself between the ball and the goal. At least then you've got a chance to pop it into the crossbar. Now, can Chronic get anything at the end of this game? It's not the time to be really switching up strategies too much, but it is a time to try and get a big mind game or a big pop-off goal, and that's what he's going to try and do by these things. Or never mind, I thought he was just going to go into the sidewall area to try and get a big wall play started, but nah, it looks like he has in fact just forfeited. He's not typed forfeit yet. You can actually just forfeit if if he wants to. I always feel like it's very disrespectful of me to suggest. I'm like, hey, are you forfeiting? But yeah, in this case, I think it's pretty clear that he is. AyyJayy has done too much. It was an impressive game 1 from Chronic, and even more impressive game 2 from AyyJayy. You know, I'll tell you what, since we got Chronic just driving the ball around the last few seconds here, let me see if I can get through these alerts that you guys have been dropping. RSRL, thanks to the 12-month tier 1. We got brand new Prime from the big unit 13. Welcome back to the big unit. We've also got Decay Ice, thanks to the 54-month tier 1. Griffin, thanks for gifting us up to TJ Rock. I don't know, man, thanks to the brand new Prime. 15-month from Fender Strats, thanks to the Prime. Sweet for you with the 29-month tier 1. Good to have you back. Oh, look at this from Chronic. That's a great shot. There's always a chance that this can go in. But it's a much harder one to hit from this kind of position. AyyJayy was right there and it just bounced in off his car. So, a bit unlucky there from AyyJayy, but good try from Chronic. Really going to be up against it if he backs off in that position anyway, so fancy his chances. Pickle Nick, thanks to the 28-month Prime. Also, we got tier 1 from Hagnat. Vacanis with the tier 3 and 66 months in a row. Welcome back. Also got Dancing Crabs with the tier 1. X Louis with the tier 1. And Proper with the 5-month tier 1. Welcome back to you. I think that's everybody. If I missed you, let me know on my Twitch chat. Oh, I love this from AyyJayy. Not so much of a fan of the finishing touch, but I love the idea there. He's looking so threatening. Again, positions very well between the center of his goal and the place Chronic's got the ball in. Oh, a bit of a mistake from Chronic. He just let AyyJayy take a ball shot from distance here. And I mean, that was quite an obvious one. I feel like Chronic should have seen that one coming. Bit casual, bit too slow on the turn. Red R 20,000, thanks to the 5-month tier 1 also, or 5-month Prime, sorry, and thanks to the 9-month Prime from the Mad Atter. He says, happy Prime sub, baby generation, period. It is indeed. You've been educated well. Char RL, thanks to the 3-month Prime. Chronic needs a big comeback game here, not because, you know, he himself didn't really play that well, but because he couldn't shut down AyyJayy at all. Everything AyyJayy did just turned to goals, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly what Chronic has planned to try and stop the AyyJayy offense. Both players had a good idea of when their boosts were respawning there. It's perfect acceleration by Chronic. A lovely first touch off the wall as well. Not the best finish though. He's got a decent recovery to play with here, but that was not a threatening shot. It's a great save though, Chronic. Not wanting to give AyyJayy any space on these air dribble setups. He's just taking his time here. Chronic's appearing to slow down the pace a little bit. He doesn't want to play AyyJay's game, and it's working so far in game number 3. Kimbo RKT, thanks to the 7-month, actually 8-month tier 1, welcome back. That's a style that's, you know, just as important for 1v1 as switching your kickoff strategy. You know, one of the easiest things, I always say this these days. Oh, great off the wall shot from Chronic. That's perfect execution. You know, it's just as important to change the pace of the game if you're not getting a good, you know, run in the midfield. In the same way that you want to switch up your kickoff strats if you're losing kickoffs. If you're losing the midfield, and the game's played at blistering pace 24/7, well, maybe it's time to just slow everything down. Just try and force 50-50s. Just try and wait for your opponent to drive into you, instead of just bashing your head into their defense over and over again. It looks like that's what Chronic is trying to do here, trying to play as methodically as he can. There's not many players who can go toe-to-toe with AyyJay's pace. I know Chronic can if he's feeling good about his mechanics. He said coming into this game that he was. Another fake, another wave dash from AyyJayy, as he's coming into those positions where he could be trying to half volley the ball, could be trying to pinch it. That's a lovely early challenge though from AyyJayy, great stuff. And if Chronic is just going to slow play every offensive move, and one thing AyyJayy knows is that he's got plenty time to challenge with. Great angle to approach him with there. Thoughts on Jack Nolly Chronic? Yeah, that's a really cool, I don't know, do we call it a leak, or have they made any official announcement? I saw that they'd signed up for the first RLCS regional. I saw a screenshot of that. It's no official announcement yet. Oh, it is? It's announced? Oh wait, yeah, it is. I remember seeing. There's been so many like announcements and so many leaks and so many rumors and so many like roster screenshots in the sign-up page. I really, it's hard to remember what's announced and what's not, but yeah, Chronic, Nolly, Jack, that's a super exciting team. Yeah, I'm glad that Chronic is going to get his shot. You know, similar to a player like Magic Bear, who's had so much potential and so much ability, but never the results to back it up. Chronic he's another player who's just ridiculously mechanical. And if that team can, you know, work hard and have the right attitude together, it sounds like that was a big part of why they signed up together in the first place, that they all wanted to grind, and they all wanted to put the work in together. So, you know, if they've really got all that sorted out, I can't see I can see that team seeing a lot of success. Best of luck to them. Super interesting story either way. I was talking about, well, I've tweeted about it earlier, you know, if they do poorly, if Jack and Nolly go to NA and lose, then of course you know that all of the NA fans and NA casters, maybe not all the NA casters, but the First Touch podcast guys, they're going to call them EU players if they lose and NA players if they win. Meanwhile, you've got me and the rest of the European fans. We're going to call them EU players if they if they win, and then we're not going to claim them if they lose. So it's I've had a lifetime of having to watch this happen in Scottish sports. You know, Scottish athletes, whenever they do well, the English media call them British, and whenever they lose, they're called Scottish. So we'll have to wait and see which way it works out with for Jack and Nolly. Mariah Carey, thanks to the 13-month Prime. Welcome back to the channel. Much closer game number 3 here as we get into the closing seconds. It's going to be AyyJayy down by 2 with a big chance to close the gap on that. Bit of a heavy touch right before the shot though. This is back up into the air, but so is Chronic, and he dusts him to the ball. Chronic up by 3 with 31 seconds to go. Can AyyJayy get a kickoff win here? He absolutely needs one. He's going to play just standard, and that is about as good as AyyJayy can hope for. Well, you know, he's given himself a lot of work to do here, but he still has a decent opportunity. Chronic not going to give him any time though. He knew that AyyJayy was going to try and re-control the ball after an awkward first touch like this, so similarly to AyyJayy just diving in against Chronic earlier on when he's taking too long to make a move. Yeah, Chronic does the same thing there to AyyJayy as well. Did I watch Federer's last match? No, I didn't watch Federer's last match. I'll probably go and watch that. I'll definitely watch the highlights of that. I need to see the iconic last match of Roger Federer the Great. How insane would this be if Chronic can get a win against AyyJayy? I think in game 1 AyyJayy started off a bit slow, but after the mid-game it was clear to see that he was playing very well, and it's clear to see from that game number 2 that AyyJay's definitely got the form today, at least at certain moments. But brilliant pace change by Chronic in game 3 here, making this awkward for AyyJayy. I think he played a very, very consistent end game as well. AyyJayy tested him. Chronic didn't fall for any tricks, even though he's been mind-gamed earlier on this series. He wasn't mind-gamed late in game number 3. Again, as both players push the ball to the outside in the kickoffs, is Chronic. He comes away with it. AyyJayy tries to pinch it on target. He doesn't get the same connection Chronic did to start off game number 3. As First Killer played ones recently. I don't know if he has actually. It's a fake challenge there from AyyJayy. Did well to realize there that there was no threat in the position. Chronic did not have a flip to work with, so AyyJayy showing what to do if somebody's air dribbling at you and they're clearly not going to reach your goal. It's just challenge them right as they're about to hit the ground. That's the one moment that they can't really do anything with the ball. What is this Red R20,000 cheered with US $5? I've never seen that before. Did Twitch change something, or am I getting trolls? What is that? What is this? It's a new cheer? That's like... Is this like some legal thing? Why did they change that? Why would Twitch just... Why would they change it to just US $5? Were people like complaining about not knowing what the bits actually meant? Well, thanks to the US $5 cheer. Thanks to the US $1 cheer. To make it even more confusing, that's not showing up on my alert box. So if I don't see that happen in the chat, I guess I'm just going to miss it, because Twitch have not added that to, or Streamlabs haven't added it to the alert box. Well, okay, 1-1 after a bit of a tussle in the middle of the pitch. Chronic came away the stronger of the two players. Yeah, indeed, I cannot see... I guess it doesn't qualify as bits, so I can't see it. That's interesting. But yeah, AyyJayy was definitely the guy I expected to be winning this one coming in here, but okay, but it doesn't seem... Like, I don't really get any credit for this prediction since I'm saying it now rather than at the start of the match, but I was thinking 3-2 to AyyJayy as the most likely score. And then I was thinking second most likely score would probably be 3-1 to AyyJayy. So my second most likely score is out the window. And if Chronic keeps up this ridiculous form that he's showing us, my most likely score might be out the window as well. He's really got AyyJayy in a lot of trouble. Consecutive attacks now. Can he eventually wear down AyyJayy's defense and get a goal? He's got a dodge this time, and he's got a goal this time as well. Chronic really took his time with this one. It was a very awkward setup. He had to use all of his boost there. His recovery would have been a bit slower with all that boost invested, but he did so well with the finish, it didn't matter. And he's going to get a kickoff goal again if he doesn't mess this up. Well, just as I say that, I think he has messed it up. In fact, he might be on the receiving end of a kickoff goal all of a sudden. AyyJayy quickly around the ball, shoots it very far wide. Nothing else that does force Chronic briefly out of position. He gave AyyJayy a boost advantage, but Chronic's had such great awareness today. Even when he's on no boost, he just knows when he can put in a challenge. And it's great to see a top tier talent from North America starting to just go for these challenges in positions where in years past and in seasons past it would have been shadow defense versus shadow defense for game after game. They're definitely leveling up the aggression off the ball. Chronic leads by 2 now. AyyJayy on the ball though. Flick leaves a lot to be desired. That doesn't force Chronic out of position. Doesn't force him to use a lot of boost. In fact, doesn't even force him to lose control of the ball again. Chronic's huge volley will. AyyJayy retreats all the way down the line. He was a bit worried about being demoed here, so he ran away, made some distance, but look at what Chronic's able to do with that space. Quickly sets up a shot for himself. Fires it into the open net. Jack's a phenomenal threes player. You don't know what chat's saying. What's chat saying? Are people saying Jack's overrated in threes? That's just NA Copium. NA Copium. This is one potential timeline that we might in fact be living in at this very moment. So AyyJayy muscles another one through for his second goal of the game. So the timeline that we could be living in, whether or not we are, we'll have to wait and see how the split goes. But right now, the phase that we're in is the copium, the pre-copium phase, also known as the denial phase, where NA fans are telling themselves that Jack and Nolly are terrible at 3v3 to help themselves sleep at night because they're afraid that their favorite NA team is going to lose to Jack and Nolly. So they're right now in that phase, but we could go past that phase if it happens. If it happens, there'll be two types of fans. People who just call it luck, or say that Chronic's the best player in the world and is carrying them. That would be a continued denial phase. Just people who don't leave phase 1 stay in denial forever. But most people, after seeing results, will change their the way that they see teams and players, and they'll just start to claim them for North America. And you'll start to hear things such as, wow, Jack and Nolly have gotten so much better. It must be because they've scrimmed so many NA teams. They've really improved. Wow, they're really good now. Back in last season, they were terrible. But now they're insane. Must be because they scrimmed NRG. That's like phase 2. So we're in phase 1 right now. If Jack and Nolly just do really well this split, we're going to enter phase 2 for a large part of the North American fan base. And then who knows what happens after that. We'll have to wait and see. My goodness, what a challenge by Chronic. He completely crushed AyyJayy on that one. He leads 3 goals with just over a minute to go in what could be a game to get him the series win. AyyJayy surely going to be scoring here. Indeed he is. Places his shot well to the top corner. Chronic initially missed his touch in the back corner. He wanted a very precise touch there, of course, to get an immediate recovery with his own car as he deflected the ball to safety. Who's going to get the boost here? This is huge. AyyJayy goes for it with the flip, but he doesn't make it. And I don't think he's going to make it back to defense either. He really committed for that one after getting a bump onto Chronic. He thought maybe with a speed flip he could get there first, but not quite. AyyJayy not fast enough. Chronic beats him to the punch. And he's back in front by 3. Another delayed kickoff late in the series. It's Chronic who's mixing things up. This is wasting a bit of time, but not all that much time. AyyJayy scores first try. He did have to go past Chronic for this one, but he made it look easy. Chronic didn't jump. Didn't think AyyJayy was just going to shoot this one. Maybe thought AyyJayy was going to try and run across the box for a boost steal on the far side, but with this little time left in the clock, I think AyyJayy made the right call there to just go for the goal. Just take any chance you can get. Here's another one. It's a mind game. Chronic's not going to fall for it. AyyJayy managed to surprise him with those earlier on in the series. Not anymore. And Chronic doubles in an 8th to really send this one beyond all doubt. I mean, you've got to think surely now with Chronic mixing up the kickoff strats, he'll be able to hold on to a 3-goal lead with 33 seconds left. He's eventually going to win one, and that's exactly what's happened here. You know, if a player is just refusing to switch it up, then maybe you can see a comeback like this, but Chronic is playing too smart today. Huge win. He's going to try and celebrate it with a double demo, and not, well, it's not the double demo I was expecting, but it's a double demo in 2 senses of the word. He demoed AyyJayy twice in a row, but also both players have demoed themselves there. GG's. Chronic 3-1 over AyyJayy, so another tough loss for AyyJayy here, losing to Lion Blaze in Turf Wars, and now losing to Chronic in a show match. I'm sure most of you guys, myself included, still consider AyyJayy to comfortably be a top 3 player in North America, but Chronic is starting to get his name into that conversation as well. You know, a few more big wins like this and he's in there undeniably. Yeah, he's definitely up there. Had it not been for a tight loss to Razebull recently, I forgot to mention that one earlier. Yeah, he did lose to Razebull before, so on my channel. So it's a bit of a confusing one at the moment. Yeah, it's very, very interesting to see the competitiveness returning to the top tier in NA. No longer, we're not in those days anymore where it's just dominated by First Killer, dominated by Daniel. You've got AyyJayy, Lion Blaze, Chronic. You've got Razebulls coming over from South America, learning how to play ones. Jan, of course, signing up for the first regional with Furia, so he's you know, maybe going to be getting in the ones mix as well. We've also got Jack over there, CRR over there, teaming up with Razebull. Yeah, so many new players to the NA1 scene. Players like Chronic returning to form, and old players getting back into the mix as well.